Welcome back, Chem 107 students. We are now going to talk more about climate change since we finished our chemistry portion of this chapter. So, signs that climate change is underway. We have sea level rising. We can measure this. It rises by thermal expansion and ice melting. So, thermal expansion just means as the water molecules in the ocean warm up, they move faster and hit harder and take up more space. So the water has to go up a little bit to create more space for the water molecules. So simply heating up the ocean requires more space and pushes sea level up. And then, of course, we have ice melting from the North and South poles. That's going into the ocean, making sea level go up. So sea level is definitely going up. We have sea ice melting at the North and the South poles, the Arctic and the Antarctic. Glaciers are also melting worldwide, almost all of them. The Arctic and the Antarctic peninsulas are heating up the fastest, meaning the North and South Pole are heating up more than stuff along the equator. It's not the same everywhere. There's more severe weather going on, and this is a huge part of climate change. See, climate change says hot gets hotter, cold gets colder. Dry gets drier, wet gets wetter. So if you get a lot of rain, you may get even more flooding than normal. If you have a drought going on, you may be drier than normal, which causes forest fires. That's where California and Arizona are right now. We're in a drought and it's getting even drier. We've had hardly any monsoon rains this year. And so we have more fires. California and Arizona are basically burning down. So it's not good. So wet gets wetter, dry gets drier, storms, heat waves, tornadoes, freezes, hailstorms. These are all part of climate change. So we actually do expect to have some cold freezes in climate change. So when that congressman walked into Congress with a snowball and said, "It's cold, climate change can't be real," he embarrassed himself because he did not know the science at all about climate change. Because climate change does say cold gets colder. So the bottom line is, these changes are not natural. They do not fit nature's patterns unless we add in humans increasing the greenhouse gases. So here's some climate change facts. The Earth is about 2 degrees Fahrenheit warmer than it was 100 years ago. Now that may not sound like a lot, but it's not equally distributed. Some places are warmer and some places haven't changed much at all. So some areas have warmed up by 11 degrees Fahrenheit. Can you imagine if Arizona summers were 11 degrees warmer on average? That would mean instead of 115 degree days, we'd have 126 degree days. I think I'd move, right? That doesn't sound like fun at all. And the air conditioners probably couldn't keep up if that was normal. So weather's becoming more variable and more severe. So it's getting stretched out to severe, both cold and hot and dry and wet. So Glacier Park up in Montana had 150 glaciers back in 1910. By 2008, there were only 27 left. Soon there won't be any. So if you wanted to go see a glacier, you better get to Montana really fast, unless you want to travel farther than the 48 continental United States. Changes of human climate change. By 2019, we have seen both South Pole, Antarctic sea ice breaking up. We've seen South Pole, Antarctic peninsula warming. We have seen the North Pole, the Arctic sea ice melting. The Arctic, the North Pole has warmed 11 degrees Fahrenheit. So that's where it's warmed 11 degrees, is at the North Pole, which is why the permafrost is melting and all that methane's coming up out of the ground in Siberia and Canada. It's not good. Melting of small glaciers worldwide. Sea level is rising. This is an interesting slide. In the gold, we see 928 scientific peer-reviewed articles have dealt with climate change, and 0 of them have any doubt that it's humans causing this. So scientists know what's going on. So these are peer-reviewed articles, meaning it's not just some rogue scientist publishing nonsense. These are peer-reviewed articles, experts reviewing experts. 0 of them have any doubt humans are causing climate change. However, in red, we see there were 636 popular articles in magazines and newspapers about climate change, and 53% of them are like, we don't know what's going on. It's probably not humans. Wow. So that's misinformation. I guess you would call it fake news. So you can't really rely on everything you read in the newspaper or magazines in case you didn't know, or online. Not good, legitimate sources of data. So we need to listen to the experts, not just listen to magazines and newspapers. So listen to your experts. That's why you're in this class, right? Science class, learning the facts. So we're going to look at some pictures of before and after. So we've got some glacier ice and sea ice up at the North Pole about 18,000 years ago. And you can see present day, there's hardly any left compared to then. This picture is more important. You can see the outline in red is where there was ice in 1979, but 40% of that ice is gone now. And I believe this was about 2012. So we can see at the North Pole, the Arctic ice has really melted away. This is the South Pole. We have some ice sheets that are melting and breaking up. And now let's look at some glaciers. So this is up in Alaska. 1906, we see a healthy glacier. 2004, the glacier is gone. Also in Alaska, the McCarty Glacier in 1909 was a very big, thick glacier, but in 2004, it is gone. The Murrin-Riggs Glacier in Alaska, 1941, it stretched out to the camera. 2004, it's pushed way in the background. Mount Kilimanjaro in Africa, a mountaintop. We can see in 1993, it has some snow on top of it. The year 2000, much less. These images were taken from the space shuttle. Also Mount Kilimanjaro, a mountain in Africa. We see in 1970, there was quite a bit of snow on top of the mountain. In fact, in the springtime, that snow melts and goes down and fills up rivers and lakes for people to use the fresh water. But in 2005, you can see there's really not enough snow up there at this point to fill up a lake. So those people had to move and became the first environmental refugees. We also have problems in Peru. Look, in 1978, we have a glacier, but in 2011, it's been pushed back quite a bit. South America, the Patagonia region, 1928, big healthy glacier. 2004, it's pushed way back into the right corner. So why do we care about glaciers melting? Well, it is 80% of the world's fresh water, which is pretty important, right? We need water, fresh water. And glaciers are rapidly retreating worldwide. We think the glaciers and the ice caps will pretty much be gone by 2100, so that affects your children, maybe, and your grandchildren, if not sooner. Major ice sheets are also melting and retreating. So people depending on this water will become environmental refugees. This graph shows you most of the glaciers around the world are decreasing. It's going down, right? Except for the blue and the purple, that's one in Europe and one in the Andes. But the rest of the glaciers around the world are melting. So it's a good place to stop here, and we'll continue on in the next video. All right, Kim 107. Good. Have a good day.